I lived in the Netherlands for 5 years, and many of my friends and I would always say that Utrecht seems like a nice place, seems like a cool place, and we would like to live there. So that's why I'm making this video, because I like Utrecht. So based on some of my research and my opinion, I'm gonna present to you why Utrecht is a great place to live. And, you know, feel free to share your opinion. I think Utrecht has one of the best locations in the Netherlands. It is somewhere in the middle, but a bit more west. So if you like Amsterdam, because there's a lot going on, like some kind of events or concerts, then it's pretty easy to get there by train. It takes you like half an hour. And if you want to fly internationally, so you need the Amsterdam airport, then it will take you like less than an hour to get to the airport, which is pretty good. The city is also a major transport hub, mainly probably because of their train station. It's so nice. It's big, but it's so straightforward. You immediately know where you have to go. Everything looks nice and shiny and new. And if your train is delayed, you have some place to sit. Not that many places, but you still have a place. You can find some. And there's some stores that you can visit. I mean, all train stations have this, or many of them do, but I visited many train stations in Europe, and this is one of the nicest ones. Architecture-wise, probably boring, but it's very nice if you need to travel somewhere. And from there you can visit lots of cities, you know, that are on the east or the west. Or if you need to go to Germany and take some German trains, you can also do that. But if you're visiting the city as a tourist, Utrecht is pretty compact, so all the major landmarks and attractions are pretty centralized, and you'll manage to see them just by walking around. Unless you want to see like a castle or a fort or like a metal cathedral, then you'll probably need public transportation. But other than that, you're pretty good. Compared to Amsterdam, where there's just too much to do and you have a big list of what you want to see, you'll probably benefit from having some kind of day ticket or just using a tram from time to time, simply because everything is quite far and, well, there's lots to see. And I don't really recommend renting a bike there. At least for me. It's just too chaotic. You need to know the etiquette of biking, otherwise you'll get scolded or you'll just fall off your bike in the canal. And if you're living in Utrecht or Amsterdam, of course, at some point you should get a bike, because it's nice to have one. Very convenient. And both Utrecht and Amsterdam, transport-wise, are pretty easy to navigate. Speaking of location, have you ever went to a little cafe with your little laptop to get a little coffee and to get some work done? And for that work you do need Wi-Fi. Fortunately, they do have free Wi-Fi, but it always takes you to this website where you have to accept some terms, and it's only available for you for 2 hours. So it seems a bit sketchy, but you agree because you have no choice, to be honest. Well, fear no more, because sharks are surfing. I mean, this video is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN, or a virtual private network, a tool that encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP address to ensure a secure and private connection to the internet. This prevents third parties from snooping or collecting your data about your activities, because all the information stays behind a hidden code. And so you don't have to stress about connecting to a public Wi-Fi. An added benefit to this, you can also access many shows that are not available in your country. For example, one time I was visiting a friend and I suggested to watch one of the best animated movies of our lifetimes, which is of course Shrek. And for some reason, Shrek was not available on Netflix, which is odd because in Germany, it's always available. But for example, in UK, for some reason, they just removed it. So, easy fix, get a VPN and you'll get your Shrek back. And you can watch as many Shrek as you want. Plus, nowadays you have to get so many streaming subscriptions to watch shows that you're actually interested in. And, well, by having just one streaming platform and a VPN, you'll get access to way more stuff. If you're interested, use the link down in the description and use my code HelloErica to get an extra 3 months free. It helps out the channel. And if you're still not sure about Surfshark, they do offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can give it a chance. Thank you Surfshark for sponsoring the video. And now everybody say thank you Surfshark. Thank you Surfshark. And back to the video. I love Dutch architecture. And Utrecht has that. I often say that Utrecht is just like Amsterdam but smaller. Everything is more compact and aesthetically it's the same. I feel like if you visit any Dutch city, you basically visited them all. Except maybe for Rotterdam. But most of them look very similar, but also very cute. So this city has a lot of old, cozy Dutch architecture. If you also like Dutch architecture, I recommend it. But we can't talk about the good things without mentioning some bad things, so occasionally I will sprinkle some in throughout the video. And so the first one is that the city gets crowded, especially during tourist peak season. Previous times when I visited the city, this street was full of people coming and going and doing their own thing, and sometimes it was just difficult to find a place to stand and to plan where to go next. The footage that I show here throughout the video is filmed during Christmas morning, so everybody is in their homes spending time with their families, and I'm outside making a YouTube video. So all the stores and many cafes and restaurants were closed, which is an unusual sight to see in the city. But Albert Heijns were open, so I could do some grocery shopping if I needed to. But I mean, this is a perfect time to get pictures with no one around, basically. And actually, I found a lot of people in the train station, just, you know, traveling. I found, and I'm not too sure how true this is, but Utrecht is not the top most international tourist destination. Usually people visit cities like Amsterdam, for sure, because it's the capital, and then Rotterdam because it looks unique, and then Delft because it's cute, or Breda, or some kind of tulip fields. And so a lot of the people that visit Utrecht are also Dutch, because the city also has a lot of stuff to do. Firstly, when you get out of the train station, well, depending on where you got out, but you are greeted with a giant shopping mall. And I think you kind of have to go through it because it is the quickest and best way to get into the city itself. The shopping mall has 113 shops and restaurants and cafes you can visit, dine in, and buy something. The mall itself is pretty cool. It's very big and very bright, but it is usually packed with people because, well, as I said before, you kind of have to go through it. At least maybe it's just me and I didn't find a way to get from the train station to the city more efficiently. Other than that, the city itself has a lot of cafes, restaurants with different cuisines, theaters and museums and concerts and etc. So you won't get bored. And if you do, you just can easily hop on the train and go to Amsterdam. Utrecht has canals. I know it's a Dutch thing, but not all Dutch cities have canals. Most of them do, but not all of them. You can walk and just chill at the canal level where the water is if you would like to. And uniquely, this city has restaurants that operate right next to the water. So you have a lovely scene of some guy paddling his little boat. So, and you also can rent a little boat to explore the city that way. So you have a perspective of the little duck roaming through the city. Well, through the canal. Another negative side of Utrecht is navigating with a car. I think because Utrecht has canals and it's so compact, it is considered to be one of the most car-unfriendly cities in the Netherlands. Which, to be honest, isn't a bad thing unless you really need a car and you live in the city center, or maybe if you need to move and so you need a big car to move your stuff. If you have a car here, I can imagine it being one of the worst experiences to navigate. I mean, you have a lot of pedestrians, you have a lot of bikes, and bikes do have priority, and you just have to be careful when you drive there. Parking is very limited, and in general, owning a car in the Netherlands is pretty expensive. There are many tourists and expats in Utrecht and in Amsterdam, but Amsterdam feels a bit overcrowded. The government is trying to inspire to visit and move people to other parts of the country, but Amsterdam is still pretty popular. This city is a great city for foreigners because it has a good blend of traditional Dutch and expat life. So you can find international friends that are going through the same journey as you are, and you can get to learn and integrate into the Dutch life and understand their perspective and the way that they live their life. And I can imagine a lot of Dutch people will say to like, get out of my swamp. Because, well, they are having a housing crisis and they themselves are having difficulties to find a place to live. So I get it. But I think that Utrecht is a fine example of how foreigners enrich the city, giving it more perspectives and more international cuisine to try. Okay, back to the negatives. In a similar fashion, as I said before, it's hard to find a place to live. Utrecht being one of them. Amsterdam is also pretty bad. There's high demand for housing and it is difficult to find something affordable. Also, it's quite difficult to find a job there. I was looking for a job in Utrecht and there were not a lot of options for me, and most of them required me to know the language, which makes sense. But if I look in Amsterdam, there's many more opportunities. Also, most likely, there are many of job openings that are okay with you speaking English, but those are not that... You need to have some kind of connections, because they're probably hiring internally, so it's not that easy. Plus, it is quite competitive. And you might be thinking, you lived in the Netherlands for like 5 years and you didn't learn the language? Well, I did try, I went to classes. Retrospectively, they weren't like the best. It's really easy to live in the Netherlands without knowing Dutch. Plus, I was also a student and I had after-school activities and I had passions and hobbies. So Dutch wasn't really my priority. I mean, I didn't even know if I wanted to stay in the Netherlands, to be honest. I don't know where I want to go in life, so to be honest, it's quite difficult to find the negatives about living in certain cities because usually people don't really share about them and you can only experience them while you live there. For example, when I was visiting my friend, he said that, yeah, there's just some explosions from time to time, so don't be scared because it's something that happens in this neighborhood for some reason. I don't know where it comes from, but it happens, don't panic. Other than that, some people say that the people are unfriendly, and there's also seagulls. Apparently there's some kind of increase of seagull nuisances. They're stealing your food or just doing their seagull things. Did you know that seagulls can also be referred as just gulls? It just feels wrong. I mean, oh, because of the sea. Because there's no sea, and so they're just gulls. Okay, alright. It almost sounds like goons or something. So that's it for the video. I hope you had fun or you learned something new. If not, maybe you know more about Utrecht than I do, so let me know. And yeah, that's kind of it. See you in the next time. Bye-bye. The only few words I know in Dutch is kassabon and gezellig. And probably some other things that... Poen poen? Oh, and pindakaas, of course.